Back on the phone lines, here is Joan in Montreal. Good evening.
Good evening, gentlemen. I wanted to ask about Walgreens, because I see it's now called Walgreens Boots Alliance. And Lord Boot came from Jersey in the Channel Islands, where I'm from. So I want to know what their prospects are.
Sure. So, Joan, Walgreens is a company we recommended as a top pick about a year ago. First of all, the pharmacy businesses in general in the U.S. are doing well for obvious reasons. You've got demographics on your side. Walgreens is a great operator. They did a deal with Boots out of the UK, and our view was at the time there was great opportunity for synergies in putting these businesses together, and it turns out that that's the case. Their most recent quarter, they beat estimates by 17%. And so every time a company beats by that kind of number, it means that the earnings multiple that people thought the stock was trading at is actually wrong, because the earnings estimate is too low. So it means it's cheaper than people thought, and that gives you room for more room to the upside. So next earnings don't come to the end of September, but the stock again is trading within a whisper of its highs. And just as a secondary point, stocks that trade at $90, 9 out of 10 go to $100. So it's one of those things you can always look for technically, and we're just pushing on $90 today. So we like the sector, we like the company, they're executing, they do have opportunity to cut a bunch more costs, and technically it's trading very well.
They appointed a new CEO today. Did you get a chance to look at the background or who this person is? Or
No, I haven't. I didn't look at that today.
All right, fair enough. Ralph's in St. Catharines. Hi, Ralph.
Good evening. Thanks for taking my call, gentlemen. David, Bombardier. I'm almost embarrassed to say I own this company, but I own it in my RSP and my margin account. I'm in at around $4.50.
Yeah.
Where do you see this company in, say, 2 years down the road or so? I really would like to get my money back out of it.
Yeah.
Thanks, and I'll hang up and listen to your response.
Or is that the wrong way to look at it?
Well, yeah, I was going to start by saying, it's always rotten when you've got a position that's gone really offside. And the problem that all of us wind up having is we all want to be right, and it's hard to take a loss. This is a company that has been underperformed for quite some time. There's been a lot of hopes pinned on some of their new jets. And as Mark and I were talking about beforehand, it looks as though they're going to be delaying their global jets further. So this is going to be another data point that is going to cause people to reassess their positions. Stock keeps hitting new lows. It's a $2 stock. It makes it very difficult for institutions to invest in it. I think you probably should take your lumps and move on, because this is not one where there's a lot of good news coming.
Just chalk it up to a tax loss and start again?
I think so. It's not like there's nothing else that's working in this market. So do you want to sit for 2 years and hope that it gets turned around, or do you find something where you can see, based on the numbers, something's changing for the better that would cause the share price to go up? And I think that there's been a series of missteps here that you probably just want to walk away from.
The stock hit a 22-year low at the close today, just above $2, as David said.
Can I make one point, Mark? And this may sound silly, but this is the truth. Think about this. There's not one existing shareholder who's making money, right? Everybody's underwater. And there's a whole bunch of them, whatever price they entered at, who are in their head saying, if I could just get my money back. So that's built-in sellers in the market. That's why we like to buy stocks that are making new highs. Everybody's happy. Nobody's in a hurry to sell. So just keep that in mind when you think about your decision.
Let's head to Lindsay, Ontario. We have Barry on the line. Hi there.
Hi. Could I have your thoughts on NXP Semiconductors? I've done well on this stock, but it's dropped significantly. I'd just like to hear David's opinion.
So Barry, we talked earlier today on the show about stocks that have good news and gap higher. And very often over the next 2 to 3 months or 3-4 weeks, you'll see them pull back and fill the gap. If you go back to March, NXP reported some great numbers, and the stock jumped from about $85 to $100, and then based with the semiconductor group over the last while. So in the most recent market weakness in the last 4 days, really, it's pulled back and filling in that gap. Technically, I would tell you that there is nothing broken here. Stocks trading from a relative strength perspective stronger than 86% of the stocks in the market. The semiconductors have had some pressure on them, but really specifically it's been from Intel, Qualcomm, and Micron, which are the heavyweights, and that's cast a bit of a pall on the group in the last few days. I think NXPI has a very positive future. They're in near-field communication chips. They're in our credit cards and so on. I think you want to give this one a bit of space. It's trading above the 150-day moving average. There's been a little bit of volume, but no big spike. I think you stay with it.
And I don't know if you mentioned it there, but does it supply Apple?
They are a big supplier to Apple.
All right. A short break here with David, and then more questions after this.